Hi, it's Gareth from Port Monkeys, and today we are on the Grand Princess, and I'm just going to take you around and show you some of the changes that happened in the last dry dock. Now this is late September 2025, and the ship went in for dry dock in April and May, and there's quite a few changes, although some of them you might not notice. The ship sailed through the Panama Canal for the first time, and it needed reinforcing on the tie down, so structural things inside the ship I can't show you, but I can show you some of the others. So let's take a quick look, shall we? Well, we're down on deck 5 at Alfredo's Pizzeria, not Alfredo. That needs to be fixed. And that's where we begin with the changes. This is all new upholstery in here. I don't know if the chairs actually are new, but they were not this color. And there were no stripes. They were brown. They were brown and tan and drab colors. Is Alfredo's Pizzeria. And it's pretty small Alfredo's. Alfredo's is no longer complimentary unless you have a package. But they cook the pizza right here. Moving right along to Vines. Now in here you might not notice, but this table used to be about that high and there were bar stools around it. Now it's that high. Many of the changes are for ADA compliance. You're going to see. On the starboard side of Plaza Deck 5, and this is the Vines Wine Bar. And it's a pretty small Vines Wine Bar. That brings us to the Internet Cafe, where there are no changes. But this is new. And I'll let you get a picture of this later, but you're going to fly like an eagle. So, to fly like an eagle, you're first going to stand there, and then it's going to come on and ask you to do things with your arms and stuff. Somebody said, one of the waiters, that it's new carpet. But it looks like the old carpet, although it does look new. But it's the same pattern as. And that we're going to find in several areas, new carpet. Sometimes replaced with the same pattern. I'm going to show you something that they did at every bar on the ship. And they made it this lower area. So every bar, and we're going to look at them, but every bar has this lower area and that symbol. This is Good Spirits at Sea. Yes, Daniel bought me this shirt. We're in the Grand Casino now, and these 4 slot machines are new. They weren't on here in March. They have replaced the thing where you drop the quarters in and they shoot around, and they pour out quarters though. That used to be right here. Some of these other machines are maybe new, maybe not. I did notice these little piggy bank machines way down here were new. These weren't here before either. And I'm not sure what else. These were here. They have several slot machines. I will say their slot machines are a little bit on the old side. Maybe when they go in dry dock, they're going to get new ones. This is the non-smoking side, and that's the smoking side. I didn't notice any changes in the Princess Theater. However, Snookers was also not replaced with an arcade like all the other Churchills. But it did get automatic doors. See that? And like I say, just like all the bars, it got this lower section. So here's one of those areas where the carpeting looks new, but I checked the old video and it's the same color. So I don't know. As we travel up to deck 7. We're outside the Princess Theater, and they've added these chairlifts on both sides. But if you'll recall, there was already this ramp going up into the Princess Theater, right? I think these squares are new, but there were seats missing before here, so you can see. So there's an entrance on both sides of the ship on deck 7 and both sides of the ship on deck 6. That's the Princess Theater. I didn't see any changes in there other than the one I'm standing on. Just outside the theater, they have changed from swinging doors to sliding doors. Some of them operate automatically. Some of the swinging doors operate automatically. As you approach, it opens. This one takes a button. Of course, it's roped off, so I'm not going to go out there, although it is sunrise. So there were some pretty big changes here in the Tea and Leaves library. Number one, it's not called Tea and Leaves anymore. They've taken down the signs that were here. You know, there was built-in signs sitting on this. A huge one, said Leaves. Tea and Library. Now, I don't know how much tea they serve here, but these little drawers are full of the remnants of tea. See? Well, that's coffee. So, Leaves, Tea and Library. And they've added a desk, a future cruise desk and table. But the tea is still here, and the library is still here, sort of. I mean, that's pretty much all the books they have, right in that glass. I think I heard they're going to replace this entirely. Well, so we're up on deck 7. This is Crooners. And here's another one of these little low-lying areas. Not much else has changed up here. But towards the back of the ship, we'll see some differences at the old doors. Those are the old swinging doors. So is that. Now, those are the old swinging doors. They haven't replaced all of them with sliding doors. Let's go look. We made it up to Explorer's Lounge, and these couches are definitely not different. They're the same, even that backless one there. And I couldn't see any changes in the Explorer's Lounge. Other than I think we're going to get an art show today. The Explorer's Lounge bar does not have a low area. And that says accessible route is that way. And there's a sign over there that says accessible route is that way. So I guess they're taking you around to the back door or side door over there. But what about this ramp? And so this side of the bar was always low, but they've added this piece. Right? There's a door right over there. Gallery, and these are the wood panels that fold out, and you put your pictures, well, they put your pictures in there and try to get you to buy them. They don't use them anymore. On the Caribbean Princess, when it went into dry dock, they actually removed the boards, and they have seating out here now, sort of like in front of the Explorer's Lounge. And it's really pretty. They redid the walls and everything. On this ship, they have not removed these. And they do use those last 2 or 3 down there to sell you their pictures. You know, princess pictures, not pictures of you. So these are new. This is where you do your pictures now. On a computer. You order them and everything. And you can also use these big panels to see your pictures. We came in the wheelhouse bar, and I believe this is all the original furniture and upholstery and carpet, but there is one of these in the bar. So, photo gallery, oceanfront right there. We're at the very back of the ship. So there's an old swinging door, and here's a new sliding door with the access button. And you're just in time for sunrise. We're in the middle of the Caribbean Sea right now. The only changes, and I'm not sure about these, is this area and this couch. Notice one arm is different than the other. And I think these tables are new, glass table. And these chairs are new, right? And they're easy to roll. You try moving one of those chairs, and you're gonna struggle. But these things I can move with one finger. So, and they have a couple of them. Also, there's a low part in the bar. On Promenade Deck 7, heading into the Vista Lounge, and this is the very back of the ship. And it's a huge lounge. They have the captain's circle parties in here. We play trivia in here sometimes. We've gone up to deck 14 now. And I think these little tables are new. There's one on that side too. We're outside the back of the ship. This is Alfresco's bar. So there's the lower area. And this is a really big change. I mean, making the ship ADA compliant is the biggest change. But these used to be permanent metal poles with wood tops on them. That kind of stool, and they've removed them all. They've removed them all from the entire ship, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to find out. But they've replaced them with these bar stools. Source furniture. We're right outside the aft elevators and stairs. We're in Horizon Court, the buffet, and they've added these sinks. They've also added this juice machine. You push a button there, you push a button there, and you put your cup there. Maybe put your cup there first. Of course, they have coffee, tea, ice, water. But around here, they've enclosed this one. So crew only, no passengers. There is another sink though, or two. And again, no permanent bar stools, no round wooden discs, but they do have that at the Calypso bar. I didn't see any changes to the pool area, the conservatory. Somebody's waving though. That brings us to the Calypso pool and Calypso bar. At Coffee and Cones, they've got a lower counter. Everything else still the same. This is a lift, right? To lift you into the pool or spa. This is one for the pool. We're out at the Neptune pool, and it used to have some of these, but now it has several of them around the ship. There was the Neptune Reef and Pool. We're at the Salty Dog Grill. Of course, it's complimentary, and they've added this lower portion. And then the Mix Bar, and they've added a lower portion, a lower counter, and they've also added these tables, these low tables. This was here, but they've added those. And what they also did was they removed the permanent bar stools from in front of the Mix. The Mix, not complimentary. It's a bar. Slice Pizzeria, the Mix, and Salty Dog. We just crossed from starboard to port, but now they only have 4 apparently, unless you pull one of these over. Anyway, and then here's Slice, and we've got a lower counter here. Let's go up 15, and I think the only change is this is new carpeting. Over on the starboard side is the Lotus Spa. Of course, it's the home of the fitness center. They did put a lift into the Lotus pool, but the beauty salon looks the same. The chairs lined up out here look the same. See, they have a lift out there. Used to be, I've gone up to the sanctuary, there used to be cabanas here and they do spa treatments here, I think, but they're all gone. Everything else here looks about the same, including the fancy lounge chairs. And there's nothing new up there, but there's one of these chair lifts. And as I walk over to the port side, there's another one. And as I go down the stairs to deck 15, there's another one. And then the Seabreeze bar used to have permanent seats. So here's the Seabreeze bar, and of course it's closed this morning. There's the Neptune Reef and Pool down below. You know, wood discs on top of metal poles, and now they have these and one of those. I believe this table is also an addition. Sliding door here before. That's the spa in there. But there was also a swinging door next to it. Now there's just a double slider. So we're on deck 15 outside the conservatory, and they have another sliding door here. We're going into the 1.5. There's a couple changes in here. One of those. So the 1.5, look at those lights. And it wraps around. In Hearts and Minds, the wedding chapel. Of course, the smoking area is right out there. I don't think there's any changes out there. But they've changed these swinging doors into automatic doors that don't work. Of course, there's the 1.5. Those automatic doors worked. Worked too well. Sports deck 16 at the aft stairs and elevators. And do you see that sign? So over here, it's still a swinging door, manually operated. But if you come over here, it's also a swinging door, but it's automatic. I hope. Don't get too close, because it opens in. So we've come outside on deck 16, and this spa has one of those chair lifts. It looks brand new. And the Oasis bar no longer has the poles and wooden discs for seating. It has these bar stools, and it has this counter here. We're heading over. I will say I have never seen the Oasis bar open. We're going up to the sports court, but I wanted to show you these wooden stairs. It looks like they've been sanded down, but no finish put on them because finish may be slippery. But then when you get up here, it looks old and beat up, right? So these used to look like that. So I'm guessing they're new. But this is the sports court, and I don't remember these boxes being here. But they're full of the equipment. They even have pickleball equipment for you to use. And that's about it for our tour. The Grand Princess is pretty grand. The crew is fabulous. They're wonderful. They're very attentive. They're very friendly. So, from the Grand Princess, I'm Gareth from Port Monkeys, saying see you in the next port. Bye.